Fatima. Yes. You laughing at me?
What's going on? Yeah. I saw you backstage.
Don't laugh at
me. You all right?
You guys.
I am fine. Every day it's getting better and better every week. By the end of the year, I'll be.
Hey everybody, welcome to Bounceback Wednesdays with the Hanif sisters. And today we have a special guest in the building, Miss Chef Liesha. Welcome, Miss Chef Liesha.
Hey y'all, what's up?
Calm down, Iman, okay? She's funny.
What's going on, Chef? Hey, Chef.
Hold on, just give me a second. Please, just give me a second. Welcome to Bounceback Wednesdays. Okay, you all. Thanks to everybody that's tuning in. Be sure to share, to like, tag someone, and invite someone to the discussion. The information that we share is it's informative. The whole entire discussion is always informative, and so be sure to share it to other people. We are here to raise awareness about adverse childhood experiences. Just like Iman said earlier today, she's shouting out our special guest, Chef Liesha. Chef Liesha has taken the Aces Questionnaire, right?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Wait, let me show y'all how good of a teacher I am. Fatima, go on, tell them what Aces is.
No, you do it this time. Don't do that. Okay. So ACEs, hold on. Okay, so ACEs is the acronym for Adverse Childhood Experience. And it was a study that was done through Kaiser and CDC back between 1995 and 97. And it was done in Southern California with 17,800 HMO members. And with this study, it was come to find out that there are 10 baseline indicators due to trauma. And with these indicators, they cause chronic illness. So like diabetes, high blood pressure, stress, Alzheimer's. So go ahead. So that's what happened.
You did good, girl. That's my daughter, y'all.
Can I say the indicator? So the 10 baseline indicators. So I think it's more than 10. So the 10 baseline off top is death and divorce or separation of a parent, parents serving in jail, sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, neglect, mental illness of a household member, emotional abuse, substance abuse, and then I'm missing 2 others.
Well, it was neglect. Under neglect is emotional neglect and physical neglect. Under abuse is emotional abuse, physical abuse, and sexual abuse. Other than that, girl, you're not the girl. Let's give her. Let's show some emojis in the chat or something, you guys.
Boy, that trauma support. Look, training. Now, I am certified trauma support specialist. It's just, I took my training back in July, so I'm freshening myself up.
You're doing good. Hey, everybody. Hey. You guys did not give Facebook or StreamYard permission. We want to see who's on here. So please share your name, share where you are, and share this discussion. You have time to do it. Please share the discussion. So go on, Iman. You can take it over.
Go on, Iman. I can take whatever.
Introduce.
Chef Liesha, you took the Aces Questionnaire, right?
I did. I took the Aces Questionnaire.
What was your score?
I got a score of 6.
Okay. And if
Okay,
anything you want to share?
I'm a 6 too.
Anything that came up that you want to share that you're okay with sharing?
I felt like it was interesting. It made me replay scenarios from my childhood because I had to ask myself, like, did this happen? Or is this applicable to the question? So because there were a couple I was like, nah. And then I was like, wait a minute, there was that one time. And then, there was a third time. So yes, it was definitely thought-provoking, and not knowing ahead of time what I was getting into when I took it, it made me it helped me understand my path in life and my career and everything else. Like, it was very enlightening. Just a few questions, but really enlightening.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Shout out to Jackie Fallon. I love you so much. Hey, Mr. Kenny. Sorry, Kenny. Hey, Kenny. Well, I love calling Mr. Kenny. That's Mr. Kenny right there.
Hi, Kenny.
A lot of people have taken the questionnaire, and they do, like, not as if they're denying that something happened. Like, I've had people say, like, it's child abuse, right? Child abuse is really one of them that's the most common. And people don't think that, like, because they done got their ass whooped, that was child abuse, so they make up excuses and be like, well, I deserved it. And I'm like, what? Wait a minute. You did not deserve to get your butt whooped. Like, it was abuse, but we minimize stuff. We make things as if they're just normal, but hey, don't even mind, take it over.
So Chef Liesha, you are in fact a chef. Just give us a little bit of background about yourself.
I'm from Oakland. That's the first thing I tell everybody because it really shaped who I am as an adult. So being from Oakland, I went to 6 elementary schools, 1 middle school, 1 high school. So I'm from all of Oakland.
Right.
And knowing, right, because think about it, it's only 6 years in elementary school.
Right.
K through 5, K through 6, however they would have broken it up. But I was literally at a new school every single year during my primary years. And it shaped who I was in terms of being able to adapt in new situations, meeting new people and friends and forming relationships and all that kind of stuff. But I am a chef. I joined the Navy when I was in the 12th grade. Okay. And I went to the Navy and I went to culinary school in the Navy and cooked while I was on board 3 different ships all over the world. Came back home and realized that cooking is something that I still wanted to continue to do. So the world of culinary arts has shifted over the years. And then I decided I wanted to go to school to get a nutrition degree. And so I have a bachelor's degree in nutrition. I have a minor in technical communication with the emphasis on social media. So I'm kind of obsessed with social media platforms, messages on social media platforms. But yeah, I hold a few other certifications in food and health and wellness. And I'm excited to be here to talk all things health and wellness in our community for National Nutrition Month. Yay!
Yes!
Go, Fatima.
You definitely, I love seeing you on social media, because I know that I'm a behind the scenes gene. So to see you out there is definitely inspiring. Now, I know I told you that before, but your energy is just so dope, man. It is just so dope, and I enjoy seeing you speak. I enjoy your lives, your blogging, everything. Everything is you're very inspiring.
Thank you.
You're
So,
definitely welcome.
so what made you go to school for nutrition?
It was really because I noticed like not only was I gaining weight, but I just felt like I was older than I am. And I said, if I could learn how to make food work for me, I already know how to cook it, right? If I could learn those other elements, then maybe I could pass some of that knowledge onto my community too. So it was kind of like one of those things where I knew the government was going to pay for my bachelor's degree. And so I said, I might as well do something that was going to benefit not just myself, but everyone else in my circle.
Right, that makes sense. Good. So I just wanted to ask you a question. Because would you say that I'm just asking, just go ahead. But when you said you was gaining weight and everything like that, like were you obese?
Yes. Oh, I was. Uh-huh.
Okay. Do you think because those ACEs, those adverse childhood experiences, a lot of them are linked to obesity. Do you think that some of those have impacted you at all?
Oh, absolutely. My coping skills as a child and young adult in the military was really to reach for food and and other things. I think that a lot of times when you're young, because I grew up very thin and very healthy in terms of like appearances. But when I got to become an adult and had adult issues to deal with, I didn't have adult tools to deal with the issues that I had to deal with. And being in the military, one of the first things you do is you pick up a drink, so outside of drinking alcohol is food. And those two things have, been a consistent thing where it's like, some level of comfort there with either one of those.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, this stuff is important. What you thinking about, Fatima?
Food deserts. Does that, how do you feel like that is? I know that's a big issue in our community, period. And I know that you discuss it a lot on your platforms about food deserts and food insecurities as well. Can you give us more of an insight on, especially those that don't follow you on social media? And
Can you tell us what a food desert is and what are food insecurities too?
Absolutely. A food desert is a term that has now become really obsolete in the world of food justice because a desert really indicates that something is naturally occurring, where in the study of food justice, we know that food deserts do not naturally occur. They are pockets of rural and suburban areas and urban areas that lack what the people, the residents of those areas need to survive and thrive within their health and wellness. So that means they don't have enough grocery stores, farmers markets, and anything that provides the nutrients and the nutritional foundation for people to thrive. If you have to travel by car in order to reach a decent grocery store that is within, more than 5 miles from your home, you basically live in a food desert. One of the things that inspired me to do work in food deserts was because growing up in Oakland and, I'm going to be 45 years old in August, and I grew up in a food desert. And when I tell you I grew up all over Oakland and went to 6 elementary schools, that tells you that there was no pocket of Oakland untouched by food deserts. And food deserts are occurring because the government strategically allows or disallows certain permits to be had in order for people to have access to the foods that sustain life at an affordable rate and with the variety that we need and so on and so forth. So growing up in that environment, it seemed natural to sort of translate my cooking ability into what can I do for those areas. Now the new term and the more acceptable term of what we are dealing with is food apartheid, because it's an entire system that has been used to affect the people in those neighborhoods, in those areas, because it's deeper than just, I can't afford food this week. It's an entire system that affects our entire lives.
Listen, that was a whole lot. That was a lot.
I tend to talk, Jamila. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. That's
Leo energy.
No, that was really good, because let me tell you one thing. When she's saying government, y'all, don't just think about state or federal or nothing like that. Listen, city government, okay?
It's your city. If people pay attention to the presidential elections, they really need to pay attention to their local city and county and who's running them, because city planning is who says who gets a grocery store.
Right. So listen, in North Vallejo, right, there was a Walmart. There used to be a Walmart located in North Vallejo, right? And they removed it. They removed it, right? And so if you think about people in this area, I mean, there's a lot of red spots in Vallejo that are high poverty rate. People lack transportation. The transportation out here is horrible. I got makeup on my hand. It's horrible. And so the nearest Walmart, like closest Walmart and Safeway and Walgreens, is like 5 minutes away from here, right? Just 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes away, but it's in American Canyon. It's in a whole nother city. Okay.
Yeah.
And so then those people in North Vallejo giving their money to them, right? If you have the transportation to get there, and then the people that don't have the transportation, it's just like, it's hard, right? And so then when you have liquor stores all in the areas, that sell more liquor than they do produce. We talked about this, but this is stuff that can be changed, with people being involved, knowing who your elected officials are, and really, communicating with them. Some people don't care, but then you have these children getting these foods, consuming these foods. That's terrible for their health and for their brain development. So how is it linked, like the nutrients and then the to the brain development?
I would say that our health and wellness starts in utero. If we are not protecting the pregnant mother, the mother to be, by providing access to preventative health care and quality nutrition, then that's where our whole system starts. So the fact that now we see a lot of campaigns to address the mom to be and the moms 5 and under, with a lot of very heavy political messaging. The reality is that is a distraction from the fact that these same people who are investing a lot of money into advertisement of programs are the same entities that are not passing laws for a Walmart to stay in a local neighborhood in order to provide the nutrition that the mom to be needs. I have a theory. It hasn't been tested or proven just yet, but it's just some of my own research and thought process that the school to prison pipeline starts with a mother in utero who does not have adequate nutrition for herself and her child, because what happens is then the child is born malnutritioned and needing support. The brain doesn't develop as how it does, and sometimes it does, right? But then we get into a place where food insecurity in and of itself, when you live in a neighborhood where there is no access to quality nutritious foods, you're sending your children to school without the foundation they need. You birth the children without the foundation you need. You raise your children between birth and 5 years old without the foundation they need. Then they go to school at 5 years old and they don't have the foundation they need. And then they're labeled as problem students when they have low blood sugar in the classroom because they didn't have an adequate breakfast. And so there is all of that cycle that continues on. Because once the student gets labeled as a problem child because they are a child, a 5 and 6-year-old that doesn't know how to behave like an adult when their blood sugar tanks, because even adults have a word for it. It's called hangry, and we get ugly when we're hungry. It's okay for us to get ugly when we're hungry, but little children are supposed to be like, everything's fine, and they're starving, right? They don't know how to communicate the fact that they feel like crap. And so they're put in this system where the teacher is like, the kid isn't focused. The kid isn't focused because the kid ain't had no protein this morning. The kid ain't had nothing that is going to sustain life. So then it's like, oh, they must have a problem. They must be ADHD, ADD. They must have a learning disability. They must have all of these things. And we're going to treat this child as a nuisance instead of a child who is hungry.
Isn't that a trip? Ain't that a trip? It's such a trip, right? And then all it is, well, teachers need to become more trained.
Right.
You know, teachers that need to become more trained in understanding that. Yeah.
But then they have these food programs in the school that doesn't provide adequate food either. So bad enough, the children are hungry, but then the food programs at the school is bull crap.
Well, here's the thing with the school food programs, right? It was school in and of itself. School is what we know of today, was never created for us. That's the first thing.
Right.
School, public school, was an institution established for the orphan little white kids who did not have parents who could teach them, because the old model was the old schoolhouses were neighborhoods, villages. They all taught the children, right? Our people were never even allowed to learn how to read and write. So school was never a priority for us. When it became really required for us to attend school, the bare minimum is what the requirement was. And if little Black Billy needed to leave school to help make money for the family, it was just like, well, you're done with school then, and then you get to go. So the problem is today, we're finding like a lot of parents are really relying on the school system to provide nutrition when the school system is not even providing the education that the children actually need to begin with. So they're resting on the school providing food. And the workaround with that is the government saying, this is what we say is healthy. So as long as we provide this, we don't have to do anything else.
Even in nursing homes.
Even in nursing homes. You're absolutely right, Fatima. Absolutely right.
And myself being a dietary manager, just looking at the recommendation, I'm like, are y'all serious? And then like,
calm down.
Because I'm sorry, but I'm fine.
And the meat
because you in a nursing home to get healthy, and then you order from Cisco, you order from US Food, and it's garbage. It's straight garbage.
I will tell you, the food that we give our children and our elders are below prison quality food. It is below prison quality.
Wow. Someone asked me a question. How does a person find out how to find, create, or even remedy the inadequate food and quality of food that is provided in certain areas?
That is a loaded question, because if you have privilege, then you are the person who is supposed to show up for the others who don't. So we have to recognize that there is a certain level of privilege in each different category and group. What you do is you hold your local politicians accountable and let them know, because public health itself as a department can't do all the work, right? And then public health is bound by the government. So they're only going to do what is government mandated in order to provide the level playing field that has been established by the local government, federal government. So it has to become a grassroots operation within the people of the community that go to city meetings You know, you have to get involved in your local politics, show up to these meetings, show up and actually say, I don't want this in my neighborhood. I want this in my neighborhood, and so on and so forth. It really is an uphill battle, and it requires a lot of will and determination because these things don't happen overnight. It takes many, many years. It takes many, many people, and you have to have the mindset that I now have is that I'm not waiting on the government to do what's right. I am working in within organizations and groups and subgroups and creating the programs that I want to see for the people in those communities within what I've been given. Everybody isn't an activist. Everybody isn't able to do X, Y, and Z. So if you can't devote your life to this work, what you can do is support those who do.
Right.
All right, Black Panther. Okay. Some programs.
And with that being said, you know, with the food with the school kids and everything of that sort, can you talk more about you're a part of the Edible Schoolyard program? You are a curriculum creator. So more about that, please.
So I started working for Edible Schoolyard Project a couple of years ago, and the organization started 26 years ago in Berkeley by Chef Alice Waters, who is the owner and proprietor of Chez Panisse. Chef Alice Waters really put the farm to fork movement to the map. Anybody who understands seasonality and partnering with farmers, it started with her, particularly here in California. You know, some people would argue it's not nationwide, but in California, everybody knows Alice Waters is the farm to fork lady, and she's the one who made it happen. Her vision was basically her daughter was going to Martin Luther King Middle School, and the food there was terrible, and her restaurant was across the street, and she had all the things to choose from and could put out beautiful, organic, sustainable meals to her clients and customers without it being known as this shishi fufu restaurant that was out of reach for most. So she got together with and created a garden and kitchen garden lessons and all of these wonderful things. And now it has expanded into Stockton, where I work, and I am the chef teacher here. I develop curriculum and activities for children that are centered around the garden and kitchen classroom experience. And we are teaching health, wellness, and nutrition, but in a very mindful way, in a very loving way. And we are maintaining Common Core standards with all of the curriculum that we create. It's just that I'm not a credentialed teacher at a particular school where I have those boundaries that I have to live under. I can really provide an experience for the children that exceeds what the bare minimum of the school district requires.
That's good. You had me thinking about, I had partnered up with someone, my nonprofit, Watch Me Grow Inc. We'll drop it in the chat, you know. But I had partnered up with Palette of Expressions. And what we did was a preschool, farm to preschool. And so we had about 15 family home childcare providers that we connected with. And we had provided them with the equipment to set up a garden in their backyard so that the children could, you know, they learn about gardening and everything. And I was on the side of the parent education side. So I had workshops for parents, like the importance of nutrition, a picky eater, you know, what they need to do with a picky eater, and like recipes, like quick recipes, because you have a lot of these households that are single mothers that's working, you know, multiple jobs, you know, doing what they can to bring in the income they need to sustain, you know, to have this quality of life, you know, making livable wages in any way they can. And so I'm reading these comments, they all threw me off. But it helped. It really helped for the parents to get that education. And finding out stuff like, whoa, I even introduced to them that My Plate, where you make the plate colorful and everything, the portions you have for the kids and everything, because that stuff is important. So thank you for all that you're doing, Chef, to create some healthy lives in these children and families. Thank you.
You want to say more about your classes that you have? Because don't you have classes like every month, right? That other people can.
Yes. So, one of the big, the elephant in the room is the burden of time. And Jamila, you touched on how a lot of these households have single parents who aren't able to really invest time and energy into dinner. And that's one of the things that I really like to stress is that there are so many factors outside of what we think are the basic ones that are preventative to our health and wellness really being where it needs to be. And one of them is the burden of time. When you're tired, you don't want to cook or anything like that. So I do teach a free virtual class through Edible Schoolyard Project every single month, where I try to keep the listed number of ingredients really low, and the recipe is seasonal so that whatever we're making, I know that somewhere within your vicinity, it's readily available, whether you are able to get it fresh or frozen or something like that, with very few ingredients, so that you are able to provide meals for your family. So I do that, as well as work with other organizations who would like some type of assistance with recipe development, outreach, and things like that. I'll come in and train different groups and organizations who want to provide resources. I give them what they need. For instance, there is a foster care agency that I have worked with recently, where they're like, we have a lot of children in this particular area that need a need, and there are families who are either fostering or adopting children who are of different cultures, and they want to provide sustenance and support in that way. And I'm able to help teach them how to be culturally aware and sensitive to what each child needs, so that they feel included.
Cool.
That's dope.
Mm-hmm. You inspire Fatima a lot. You tell she loves you. Jesus. I need to partner up.
I know. We have discussions. Let me tell you, we talk.
We got some things simmering on the back burner of the stove, just waiting for the timing to be right. She don't know it, but I got her in my back pocket ready to just be like, here's the torch, it's your turn. Because I said to myself, there are certain things I was gonna do after I turned 50. So I got 5 years to get these things done, and I need to pass the torch to somebody else. Because when you graduate culinary school in early 1996, it's time for me to sit down and do other stuff. Not to stop, but to do other stuff, because she knows what's coming.
Hi, Miss April. I love you. We miss you. We got to get back for seeing you.
I know. I definitely got to go back. That's our trainer. That's our trainer.
Oh, your trainer is in the building telling you, hey, get healthy. Be on top of your stuff. Let's talk probiotics, making sure your gut is strong. Oh, yes. You got to be able to process all of that stuff. You got
all that stuff. She does colonics, right? Isn't that what it's called? Colonics. She got a whole table with the colonics. Oh my gosh, I love it.
The colonic will help you on the coming out, and I can help you with the going in.
Coming in.
Look at that.
Oh, look at that.
That's the way to go. That's the
great combination.
Mm-hmm.
Now you are also on, what's that, Charge House? What is it called? Clubhouse. On Clubhouse.
Yes.
With your food justice. With your food justice.
The Clubhouse. Food Justice is the name of the house. And I took a little bit of a hiatus, but we usually meet every week on Tuesday for an hour and just start talking about what's happening in our community and what we can do to everybody has a little bit of food justice activist inside of them, and I'm ready to bring it out.
Okay.
Yes. So if you on Clubhouse, please join.
Tell them what
Make
is it
sure you
called?
got food justice.
How does somebody join Clubhouse? Because I want to set up a little.
Oh, you want me to send you?
You go. You could just go on, download the app, sign up, and then you have to link one of your social media accounts to it in order for you to be able to come into a room and talk.
I want to start a room.
So the most common are Twitter and Instagram, and really y'all should start your own club. To be honest,
that's what we're in the process of doing with the crypto.
Yeah, start your own club. I have the Food Justice Club. You can find me there. You can find me in some other rooms, but the Food Justice Club is where we talk about all things health and wellness and accessibility.
It's important. Access. A lot of communities lack access to a lot of things. You know, when you have these communities that I can't say it enough, trauma-filled by design, they lack certain things. Then you don't have access to healthcare, and then you can't even, early detection of things. I wonder how many. And I had looked this information up, like how many kids. What's the I'm thinking about like diabetes. Like, what are some serious health issues that young children have?
I'm seeing more and more of children with markers for pre-diabetes than ever before. And it's not always just how much a child weighs. There are other markers. For instance, if someone's neck is particularly dark around here, that is an indication of insulin resistance. It's one of the first markers you find in people who have not been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And when my blood sugar was too high, I did have that darkening. And once it leveled out, it went away. That's one of the first things. So a person can be presenting at a healthy weight and have that where it looks like, oh, child, you done been out somewhere, but it's only right there on the neck. It's not like, it's only right there on the neck. That's an indication of a marker for pre-diabetes, type 2 diabetes. When you see children with needing dental work, that's a sign of malnutrition, because if they had adequate diet, then more than likely, unless there's a genetic reason why their teeth are rotting, it's diet related. And you find the instance of these things in children in neighborhoods that are food deserts and food insecurity more than other areas. I recently learned that the city of Stockton has the highest rates of asthma in the entire state.
Huh. What, they got a lot of highways or something?
Oh, yeah. We have the old Navy shipyard. And there's several manufacturing plants. One, Duraflame, those lovely logs that people like to burn in the wintertime that crackle and snap and have a million colors and look real good. Yeah, they're made here. With a number of other things. And the air is just toxic. It is just really, really toxic. So we have received grant funds to plant trees and to do all of these other things to kind of mitigate those issues. But the reality is that when we have this type of situation and the low income people live in these neighborhoods, they're Black and brown people mostly. And in Stockton, it's a heavy Asian population as well that is underneath the poverty line. The pollution is causing all of these issues. We're having asthma, and I have chronic bronchitis whenever I'm at the farm, which is in the neighborhood of these plants. I can only work outdoors at certain times of the year, without having the feeling of being unable to breathe and having some breathing issues. So there's some orgs that are trying to help, but we really are sandwiched in a lot of these areas where it's this trifecta. We can't get away from it as much as we try. a real serious situation where if we do better in choosing what we eat on a different level, and we do better with that, we still have these other issues because the area, the air, the everything is so serious.
Wow, it's like the cards are stacked against us from the beginning, right?
They are, but you know what? Every day I feel real encouraged to continue to do the work that helps to alleviate some of those things.
Right.
This week alone, being able to successfully deliver my first spring break experience for the children of Stockton, it was really important to me to make certain that they had a space where they could be fully children and have fun and run and play, but also teach them about growing food, how to cook things, and so on and so forth, because the parents can't do it by themselves.
Right.
You know, it takes a village, and we have to be that village for, each other.
It's a lot. What y'all thinking about? What you thinking about, Iman?
No, I'm listening. Taking it all in. A lot of information, a lot of good information.
What would be some good tips for parents that do live in the food deserts and the food insecurities? One thing that I enjoyed and that you've said, like on social media, right? On how some people are able to purchase the healthy foods, the different things of that sort. So to stop looking down on the ones that are unable to, you know what I mean? And so what tip can you provide for the parents that just don't have the access but want to change, want to feed their kids healthy and all?
The first thing I would say to those who lack access is to make your house a water-only home. You are wasting money buying juice, and juice is not necessary for life. And it adds extra calories for no reason unless you're juicing yourself, actual fresh fruits and vegetables, right? And it adds to the rotting of the teeth and the sugar addiction of young people. So if you choose 1 to 5 things that are really important that you can tack off one at a time, don't do everything at once, but one at a time. Make the decision that the first thing you're going to do is not buy any juices, and that you're going to remove juice from your home. When I did that, it was a little bit of a shock for my kids because we were apple juiced up, orange juiced up, all of the things. But now they are 18 and 13, and they choose water when they go out to eat. It takes some time. It was a gradual process, but now they choose water even when we go out to eat, and they can choose anything they want, and so juice then becomes a treat. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I only would buy the snacks for the week. You get 1 sweet and 1 salty. Take your pick. When it's gone, it's gone. I'm not going back to the store for that. Everything else is fruits and vegetables and breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the rest of the week. But these 2 things will save you money. That's the first thing, because they mark those 2 things up in the neighborhoods that don't need it marked up, right? So you remove juice and you remove a crap ton of snack foods, and what you will find is, again, your children with time will choose water and fruits as snacks versus the other things. So yes, they can have their chips, their popcorn, whatever their snack is, right? No judgment on the snack of choice. It's just you get 1 sweet, 1 savory, and that's what you have for the week. And it's gone until I go back to the store.
Oh, that's training. That's discipline. Training them. That's wow. That's what that was.
Do them grandparents hear that?
The grandparents do not. They do not. They don't. Girl, don't even waste your time with them grandparents. The grandparents are like, My
I think that was
the woman who forced me to eat canned peas, right, is the same one that's, you want ice cream for breakfast?
Right. Right.
Forget about
what you talking about.
We're not even gonna talk about them grandparents.
I got a story to tell. I was over my mama's house with Ray, right? Ray is a spoiled brat. I love her.
I believe it.
She is loved.
I loved all of her. This little girl, 3 years old, okay, she got an iPhone. Every time she look, I got an iPhone. Every time, okay, Ray, is it new? Like every day.
Hold on, she'll tell you it's not no phone, it's an iPhone. I was like, right.
So
I don't even know.
That's okay.
I was over at my mom's house. I was watching Ray while my mom went somewhere. And that little girl, she had her little breakfast right there. But then she was like, Mimi, I want a popsicle. I said, no, like it's early. No, you need to eat your food. Like you got food you need to eat. You need to eat your food. She picked up her plate, went and threw her food away in the garbage, and said, Mimi, I want a popsicle. I said, no, you cannot have a popsicle. She gonna grab her phone and say, Siri, call Granny.
That's funny. About to tell on you, girl.
Then my mom answered the phone. Then she called her grandpa. Siri, call Grandpa. And I was like, is she serious right now? And he like, tell whoever that is to give you a popsicle. I said, this is crazy. I'm like, too early for her to have a popsicle. This little girl, I love her so much. This little girl, I was like, I'm not getting you a popsicle. I already said no. She gonna say, well, I'll get it myself. She went and got the popsicle. Came back. I'm saying, no. Can you help me open it? No. Okay, I'm gonna figure it out. And she figured out how to do it. And I was just like, good job. But I wouldn't have gave it to her. Like, but these little kids.
But you did though, right?
No.
Right, Iman, let's get into it.
She did though, right? So at the end of the day, she won and she got the popsicle.
I didn't give it to her.
Am I tripping or no?
I didn't give it to her. She got it herself.
Was she with you?
Huh?
Was she with you?
I didn't give it to her.
She ate a popsicle though.
Yeah,
right.
That's the grandparents though.
The grandparents.
That's the auntie. That's the auntie.
Grandparents. Okay. Jackie Jones said, or remove the Jordans, the true religions, and eat healthy. Just true. It really don't. I don't know why people think it just costs. I don't know, y'all. Maybe I'm tripping because I went to Safeway and I had got me some fresh, some green leaf lettuce and all this stuff, and it came up to $44. And I was telling the cashier, I said,
Safeway the wrong place to shop. Safeway's the wrong place to shop, and I know I'm bad because I'm.
The thing about the cost
I'm a Safeway
food,
person,
right? The thing, Safeway is around the corner. It's easy for me, but the thing about the food versus other things discussion is really nuanced. And I like to address it all the time when people bring it up, because that isn't the current generation's thing. We didn't do that. Mm-hmm. We didn't do it. This is our parents and our grandparents and so on and so forth. Why? Because the cost of food has really, really skyrocketed. Eating is expensive, but we have placed a very serious value on our presentation physically. Whereas how much we spend on food has historically been a thing that has not been celebrated in terms of spending a lot on food. And it is really intrinsically a Black and Latin and other BIPOC community type of thing to say, we spent $1,000 to feed someone, right? And that is like unacceptable. But we would spend $1,000 on name brand stuff, right?
Right.
To present a certain way. I avoid judgment on that subject for one reason and one reason only. Okay? And that is literally because systemic oppression. That's my answer for everything.
Yep.
It's my answer for everything. Why? Because we always have to look a certain part to be acceptable to certain groups of people. So while it is a warped way of thinking in terms of spending money on things like Jordans and not wanting to spend money on food, that isn't something that belongs to Gen Z, millennials, or Gen X. That comes from our grandparents because they had to always present with dignity, cleanliness, and all of these things, even when they had nothing. So that is a generational trauma that has been passed down to us that we have to openly reject and say, I'm not going to. The second reason why I will not argue the remove Jordans and things like that is because I have athletes as children. Good footwear helps a good athlete. And I will spend money on the child who is actually devoting the time and the energy into the sport of their choice, because I'm walking around on feet and knees that have been affected by the military and poor footwear because I didn't spend the money necessary to support myself. So it's really nuanced, and judgment is something that we have to really try to refrain from, emitting, because when we understand the systems, then we fully understand the issues, and we can attack the issues for what they are without attacking the people.
Okay, that girl right there. Like, I'm just listening. I can just listen to you talk. You don't play about this stuff.
I don't. I live, eat, breathe it. It is me 100% all the time.
Good for you. I can't wait to see what you and Fatima gonna do. I know I can collaborate with y'all on some things to make sure that these children in these child cares are getting what they need.
Oh yes, I got. Yeah, we need to talk because I got a thing for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you have these schools that get access to certain foods, but you guys said those foods are good, right? The foods that
there's okay. So I hate to say good and bad. I have a lot of rules about how I approach these subjects. Good and bad are not descriptive words that I use when I'm talking about food. The reason why is because if there's a list of what is good, there is a list of what is bad. And when you're dealing with people who have been affected by systemic racism and oppression, when you label everything they have access to as bad, you affect their brain and their psyches and their hearts and mind and spirits, and then they're not able to come out on the other side because now they're in this battle within themselves when they need to be fighting the system.
Right.
Watch what y'all say.
And with her saying that, us being at battle with each other is definitely a big issue, because is that the reason why we're not together in these council meetings and these events? It's always a battle of everybody want to be a leader instead of compromise and working as a team in order to reach the goal. We have a goal, don't we?
Yeah.
Or mad at each other. It's just ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
And it's our people.
And then but not that it's just it is. I hear that. But then you have the other group that's supposedly superior that pins us against each other and turns us against
instigating
as well. So
they love to see the Gen Pop fight with Hotep. They love it. They love it. And the thing about it is we both have some real valid points, but one group over the other fails to realize that in order to fix our situation, we do have to understand where the problem started and create the systems to fix it. I think that's where we drop the ball, is like really create the systems to fix it within our own community. There are historic Black women who are historic because they said, this is a problem and I'm going to fix it. They didn't wait for someone to come and save them. They didn't wait for, it's Black women. They didn't wait for someone to come and save them. They said, look, I can do this. I have said for years, I love a good protest. I love a good protest. I love a good cause. But you know what? Due to the situations with knees and feet being worked on under the knife, I'm not out there holding a sign. But guess what I will do for progress? Bring your children, I will feed them while you go hold the sign. You gotta know your role. It's like the body of Christ has all these limbs. You be an eye, you be an arm, you be a leg. I know my lane.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that's something for people to keep in mind, because it's all about action. At the end of the day, it's action. You guys are getting this information. We're providing information. There's got to always be action to something. So I just put in the chat, because what Chef just said is important. Like, what would you do for progress? What will you do for progress? You got to do something. Okay. Yeah, we're all impacted by these issues that are occurring. And then we have our children, their children. Like, we want to stop this cycle. We want to do what we can to tear down the system and rebuild it. Where there's equity, it's important. Well, anyone have any?
Okay, I know. Yeah, we got 3 minutes, but can we talk about Oakland Girl real quick?
Go ahead. Look at her. She plugging. She makes sure she plugging. Keep plugging her, Fatima. Is that all? We got some more. You got some more? Go ahead.
Yes. Oakland Girl is my spice and tea line that I launched, and every spice blend and tea is really named with the thought in mind of someone I'm related to, in terms of like the creation of the spice. What did I think about this person when I was making this spice? How did it come to me? So I have a spice for my mom, my dad, my grandmothers, all of that. My website is theoaklandgirl.com, and I do small event catering. I'm 5 years out from retiring from cooking. So small, intimate event catering now from this point out. But lots of one-on-one training and mentoring with aspiring chefs and foodies and folks who want to work in the world of food. So you can find me at the Oakland Girl for that as well, because I'm taking on mentees. I am taking on anybody. So buy some seasonings, buy some tea, and come and see me if you really want to do this work. I've worked in restaurants, hotels, sorority house, the military. So I've done production cooking, small cooking, catering, everything in between. I really approach my mentoring from a don't do this because I messed up there type of vibe. So I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I don't present as a guru, but I definitely am somebody who is like, look, I messed up when I did this, so you don't want to do that type of situation.
Right. That's all for Fatima. She got something else up her sleeve we don't know about?
No, check out her blog. Leash right
yes,
blog.
I got
really
a podcast. I'm all over Instagram, the Oakland Girl on Instagram. I'm exploring TikTok. So since it's National Nutrition Month, I am posting information on TikTok just about every day. And if you are in the area and you work with children, one of the best things about my day job with the Edible Schoolyard Project is that your kids can come out here and come on a farm and learn how to cook for me and learn how to compost and grow stuff and all that good stuff. So I definitely have a lot happening. And you are welcome, Jackie. I see a comment. Thank you for your support. Yes, I'm a Navy veteran.
She is too.
She's a Navy vet too.
Hey, what's up, shipmate? Shipmate.
Any moves or anything y'all do? Or it's just...
I mean, it's the shipmate greeting. She already know what that is. If I say shipmate, she already knows.
Got it.
Do I have weekend classes? Yes, April. I do post classes occasionally, and I do private classes as well for those who are looking for it.
All right, so we're gonna have to get something started. Shoot, we gotta get something started. We do. Because
Do you do vegan?
I always think about parents.
You excited about? Am I?
You do vegan?
Yes, absolutely. I am a plant-based lover. My philosophy is plant forward. So anybody who is coming to me, I am advising you on fruits and vegetables and healthy carbs and slow burning carbs before I even teach about meat. Most of my classes that I teach to children don't include meat at all.
Okay.
So,
Good. That's great.
Wonderful.
Well, thank you. I want everybody that's tuning in right now, I want you to share one word of what you thought about tonight's discussion. So in the chat right now, in the comments, share one word on what you felt or how you view tonight's discussion. Thank you, Chef, for coming on. Thank you
thank you for your time.
Thank you for your knowledge and information.
Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. When I was told as a little girl I talked too much, I never, ever, ever thought that it was going to be this type of life for me. So I appreciate it.
It always be like that. It's always the look at these words, y'all. Informative, inspiring,
yes,
hopeful, team. Look at this. Educational. I know more gonna come on. Powerful. We love you, Candace. We love you, Candy Pie. Hopeful. Awakening. Some good stuff.
nice.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for accepting the invite to Bounceback Wednesday. Did we ask her that? Why she accepted the invite?
You did?
Yes.
We did.
You did, yes.
Yes, we did.
I'm so tired. Y'all have
Well, thank you, Chef Liesha, for tuning in and joining us on Bounceback Wednesdays. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and joining us. Check us out next Wednesday. We will inform you guys on who will be our guest next. Love you guys. Peace.
That's funny. Alicia, why are you laughing? Hey, every Wednesday. Y'all so funny. I love y'all.
No, because Iman was like, we done now. We done.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Every Tuesday.
We still on?
Yes.
Y'all so funny.
Good night, y'all. Good night, y'all.
Good night, y'all. Don't forget to tune in, y'all. Every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Have a good night.